Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. All right, guys. Late video today, super late video. I'm gonna try to wrap up this pretty quick. I have to go the fast. I just wanted to get this video out today because of the chop. I wanted to cover the choppy mornings, so I'm gonna do a quick introduction. So anybody who's new to my recaps, my videos, all these recaps and all these teachings are either from YouTube or Twitter, X, or from my community that I share and help you guys learn trading, whether it's trading, investing, day trading, swing trading, whatever. But we use repeatable system, a repeatable system that thousands of traders use. We use repeatable concepts that I share day in, day out with everyone to trade the market. Every morning we have a game plan. This morning's game plan was right here. You can see that we have the news plays, we have the market plays, we have the earnings, and we have the overall market plays. You can see how we cover everything. So I highlight the important plays in the red so that we can focus on. We have a support and resistance, and we have a general game plan. What we're going to do, we'll cover a few of these plays today. In addition to that, we also provide here the daily levels for the index stocks, then those which moves with the market. If the market is choppy, they will be choppy. On a trend day, they work pretty nicely. So today was choppy. We'll see how those levels worked out. You can take us pause the screen and look at the levels. In addition to that, we also have something called day 2, day 3 setups. This is a repeatable strategy that I did a webinar on. Free webinar. Also, there is a webinar in our community. You can watch that webinar and you can learn about our day 2, day 3 setups, how to play them. We'll try to recap them. There's a lot to recap today, but I'll try to go through them as well. I'm usually on a voice first few hours of the market open. If there is some market is super good, super trendy, then I stay on the voice most of the day. But usually I'm just on the voice first few hours of the market open, but I do guide all day the traders through the trade setups and what we are looking at, trading opportunities. We do have a trading floor where 1,000+ traders are sharing ideas all day. A lot of opportunities sharing with each other. Everybody trades a repeatable system. Nobody trades random. We have 3-4 free scanners, option scanners, news scanner, news alerts, stock scanners. A lot of value in our community. One-stop shop for every professional day trader, as well as anybody who's trying to learn the trading with the repeatable system that you can repeat for whole your life. So we will cover that. So we will cover all that. So let's start. All right, so SPY QQQ, guys. So SPY QQQ was gapping down this morning. I had covered extensively. I'm not going to spend too much time why the market was down today. Look at my tweets. I talk about the yields. When yields are rising, then it's not really good for the market. I covered it in detail. There's a tweet. You can go on my Twitter and you can look at that tweet. It explains why the yields impact the market. So watch that and let's see what happened in the market today. So in the market, in the morning, we were initially on QQQs. We were short. We were short versus 502s. First candle pulled back, but we were short, but we couldn't confirm the short unless and until this pre-market low break. Look here, bounce, 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 bounce. So when this bounces, you have to cover your short. So we have covered our short, flat or little loss, and then it tried to push. But when it tries to push, it's unable to move over these pre-market highs. So now there's no confirmed long. Yes, you can long here, but there's no confirmed long here. And then we pull the back and then we stop out of the longs as well. So, I mean, an advanced scalper can easily make some money, $1 up, $1 down, but we want a trend, so that was a loss. So I would call a loss that choppy loss, definitely a new trader would lose money in this chop. We made money on Friday. That was trend day. Thursday was chop. This was a trend down day. This was trend up and trend down day. Then there's a trend up day. So you can see that. You can watch all the previous SPY QQQ videos. That's how the market works. But it's important that on a day like this, you preserve your capital. Look at here, right? So that's important, so that you can make money when market does this, or when market does this, or when does this, or when does this, or when does this, right? These are 512 calls. So the market has a different personalities. I keep saying you just need to know what personality it is, understand the concepts of pre-market lows, pre-market high, VIX concepts. Not going to go in detail in that. It's not that tough. You just need to build a habit. So when you see once or twice, just step away. Do not do anything. So that was a morning choppy loser. The market did trend middle of the day when VIX broke down under 20 level. You can see that the 2011 breaks on VIX and market strengths. It was okay. It was not a crazy trend. You could trade that, but I don't like these up down candles. That's not really the trend I want to see. I want to see clear. You could definitely long here. So we, personally, I stopped out when we tried to short a long and then tried to short a long and then just we left it. So that was a choppy loser. Nothing crazy. A lot of traders tried to figure it out all this day, and they got a paper cuts up, paper cuts down, paper cut, and the index stocks will do the same thing. The Magnificent Seven will do the same thing. So let's look at those now. But you can pause the screen and see my timestamp guidance, what was happening on the chop. So let's look what else happened in the chop. So what we need to see is that other important thing, guys, to understand day like today's amateur move versus trend move. Do not trade the amateur move, because some amateur moves, if doesn't give a follow through, it's going to bounce back. You see how QQQ was bouncing, even though Amazon was a short on the first candle. That's what, Google was a short on the first candle, but right away it bounced back. Why did it bounce back? Because SPY and QQQ were bouncing from pre-market lows. It's not surprising. So you need to know that. You need to know. I can't really short Amazon confidently if it breaks down under here. So that was a chop. If you tried to short here, you need to get out of your short right here. Similarly, there was chops on Google, bearish trend, curl, fail, chop, right? So again, it's easy to lose your money there. Apple was a little different. Apple was definitely a short, called the short Apple short in the morning in the community. Was definitely a short. There was a lot of opportunity to cover your short from 232s, 231s towards 230s. But when it starts to hold a certain level, and then you see the SPY and QQQ not breaking down that level, then you either step away on the short, or you could trade this 512 curls. Pretty good setup. That was actually good setup. Reason why? Because we could see this. So you do not touch here in this area. You do not touch. You touch here. Use your stops here. Then you long the, because this is the chop. This is where we will lose a lot of money. This is where we will lose a lot of money. This area is where we will lose a lot of money. So we don't do that. So that's the example. Understand the amateur move, trend move, and this will happen. As long as you're saving your money here, let's say you made 5 grand on Friday, and today you lost 1 grand in this chop, that's fine. But you cannot lose more like 7 grand, because if you're making 5 grand on a trend day and you're losing 10 grand on a choppy day, that's not going to work out. We need to take it out of our trading. That's why I teach on live, on the voice. That's why I always scream, we can make much better trades on a good trend day, right? So anyways, so that was the example of the choppiness and how to avoid that, how to understand that. We did fill the gap on SPY, did fill the gap on QQQ. You could trade it. There's a way to trade it. You just have to use the pre-market low as a resistance, because you can't use the clouds here in the chop, and you just hold it and let the gap fill. Your stops will be here. That kind of trade you can do, a C minus trade, hoping that this holds and we push higher. And if you use VIX, you could easily do that trade. That's not a problem. And when Apple is pushing higher, SPY QQQ is going to push higher as well, right? So that's very important to understand the choppiness and the trend Magnificent Seven, what they are doing. So similarly, there are some other, not a chop, but amateur losers on a few names like Coin and MSTR. They were initially bearish, but the SHAK coin actually gave a long here, but then it pulled back from the MTF clouds and chopped all day. So similarly, MSTR, and this was coin. So those were another choppy losers. I did initially say that, both bearish, but that was the amateur move. After that, you get out of it, just leave it alone. So there's easy to lose money here as well. Easy to lose money here well, and that's fine as long as you identify that, right? As long as you identify, there's going to be some day where the trends like this day, right? You could make much more money on the coin on this day. You could make money on this day. You could make money on this flag breakout, and we have done this trades in the past. So if you are in the community, or if you watch my videos regularly, or if you're new to my videos, watch the previous videos. But we need to understand that we will have such choppy days where we will have losers. So we need to keep them minimized, guys. So that's important. Okay. So anyways, those were the chops and some losers we had. Let's go and talk about some nice winning trades. All right. So let's start with Tesla today. So Tesla was showing amazing relative strength. Amazing relative strength. So Tesla was showing amazing relative strength. Let me show here. So first we already talked about Apple, right? First I'm gonna talk about the Tesla long trade, right? So there's a difference, right? Tesla, you can see Apple going down, Tesla is curling, so Tesla is a long. I hesitated on Tesla because of the market, but later I took the trade on the dip. But when Tesla was doing this push, there's a lot of flow coming in. That's when I told everybody Tesla is a 512 curl versus 382. When I say 3A versus, that means that's the risk you have to use. So let's see here if I can show you that what was happening on Tesla there. Let me see. Okay, like 1 sec here. So there was a lot of flow on the Tesla in the morning. You can see the ghost board was alerting. So that was another, like, whole market was choppy, but Tesla was giving us a flow. You can see the flow by ghost board, our options flow scanner. You should definitely try him out. He was alerting the unusual flow right in the morning. Right in the morning, you can see that how he was alerting the unusual flow. And this tells us that it's strong. So it tells us that Tesla is strong. Tesla is definitely showing some strength. So that's when I told everybody, yes, you can long Tesla, use the 382 stops. Why was 382 stops? Because 382 was right around this area. There was a pre-market support. That's why we were using it. We could use like 380, but that was a little wider stops. So that's why I mentioned that use 380 stops on Tesla. Let's look here on the timestamp guidance here. So you see that what I said was Tesla. There you go. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. Let me show you guys here on the. Let's see if I can go here and show you. Yeah, let's look here. So you see that Tesla was a flow was coming in. That was the alert. That was the long. The first target I gave was 388. Then I get 392s. So we met all those targets. The targets I gave on Tesla. Let's see here. So and we were continuously moving the stops up. So once the Tesla pushed towards this 390, let's look here. So I gave 392, 393 targets. We met our 392 target. So Tesla was, let's see here, 388. Then I gave the target of 390. So that was our morning trade, right? So that was a morning trade. That's fine. When Tesla started to break down, I told everybody to cut, and we did cut. Some of the traders held, we did cut because our stops were 386. But then what happened was, right at this candle, Tesla again became bullish. So you saw this morning trade, right? I said versus 382. I just showed you the screenshot. 388, 390, all the targets met, and we rejected from the MTF clouds. Big candle, 91 to 84. That's crazy $7 pullback. But you get right back in right here, and you use the same stop. See what I'm saying? Reclaim bullish clouds versus 386. And I was on the voice. I told everybody to get back long. And this time I gave the 394 target, and we did hit our 394 target as well. And then we pulled back again, but this time again the stops were 386 because the clouds were very small. So we are not exiting because it's a 386. Look at the stops. The stops were based upon the support, not on the clouds. So support resistance is more important. So anyways, so once that held, and then my target, then we had MTF breakout, then my target was 398. We pulled back, and I kept pushing the stops up. You see, I moved the stops to 390 from 386. Then I moved the stops to 392, and all those our stops held. Clouds held, MTF held, and then we broke out. And then I told everybody to swing it. Swing some from the midday curls. Of course, I have to tell people about the PPI. A lot of traders do not understand, but that was fine. We were swinging Tesla overnight. and Tesla is up really nicely. If you have calls, you will you will do good on the calls tomorrow. The reason for the swing, if I clean up everything, was this MTF 1 hour MTF cloud reclaim. So that was impressive. We had a chop all day, but we just had to use these levels. We used 382, then we used 386, then we used 390, then we used 392. We kept moving our stops up. This one was with all the clouds as well, and that's how we had a profitable trade. It's going to be almost $20 from our second trade, morning trade from 382. If you held from the morning, then it's amazing trade for you anyways, because 382 was your 382 was your stop anyways. So that's a beautiful trade on Tesla today. So that's how we navigated Tesla for a long nice winner through a choppy day, step-by-step guidance. You can see this timestamp guidance here, both the screen and of course the guidance on the voice. Let's go to the next. All right, that's one I'm going to go really fast now. Let's look at MRNA. So MRNA was on our game plan today. Let's look here. So MRNA was cuts 225 revenue, bearish bias to short the pops, cautious of 512. That was the pre-market planning. But MRNA was confirmed short once it rejected 35, right? And hit 32. So if I said if it breaks 32, then we're gonna get our 30 target, but it didn't break 32s. And then it pushed back to the clouds. And then it rejected the clouds. You could hit another short right here, but then it held, and then it curled, and that's when we got out of the short. So basically, depending on your entry, it was a scratch trade on MRNA. Didn't really give us something, but of course, if you're low entry, then you have to get out, right? So you can't have that entry. So it was a chop to loser, but a good entry is always here. So that was a MRNA timestamp guidance. Now let's go to the next one. All right, let's talk about some of the big winners today. Today was ANF. So let's see what ANF earnings season coming up. I think, but the pre-guided Abercrombie Fitch increased the quarter net sales outlook to 7 to 8%. The plan was to short under MTF, long over MTF, and we will also watch the 512s. 147, 150 were our key levels. But as soon as I saw that it couldn't push over any of the MTF clouds, breaking the pre-market lows, that becomes high confidence short. And that's why I mentioned as well, already gave the plan in the pre-market to short it. That's why I made it red. And then it flushed, and I did mention right here that heavy, still hold the short on the trend move. 130 and 132 were my two targets. We met our 130 target. Even after that, I told them that hold a little bit, runners, and then ANF curled, and you can see that I told everybody to exit the shorts right at when it was curling, and you could long that as well, putting your stops right under here. That to a nice little pattern here as well. You could draw a nice little pattern as well on see when ANF was curling, and you could easily make like $2-3, but it did fail the curl a little bit, so it was a little choppy. But anyways, the huge trade was this short. You can see the timestamp guidance, pre-market planning. All you need to do is follow the trade all day long. Beautiful 300% on the puts as well. Beautiful trade. All right, let's look at the next one. So next one I highlighted was 5. 5 was another one that was a short, right? 5 was a short, 3450 break, MTF break, 1 hour MTF break, then another MTF break. So you see that same thing on 5. Let's look at the game plan. The plan on 5 was bullish bias versus MTF, but it never held the MTF, right? So the bullish part was versus MTF. It right away it break down, so there was no long in 5. That was it. It was a short. So 5 became a short right there. So I told everybody, I was on the voice basically mentioning these shorts, but I did tell everybody at 950, still holding the fades, but should be covering because it's faded from like 1. What was the level I gave? Let's see here. The level I gave on the one on the 5 was 104. Since it broke 104, it faded all the way to 96, guys. So that was, guys, $8 share short on 5. That was a really profitable trade. All you had to do is just follow the clouds, and you could make easy money there. Even if you raised $1,000, you could make 2 to 3 grand on the shares easily. And then 5 gave a 512 curls. This was the 512 curls, and you could scalp it, cover your short here. A lot of opportunities all day on 5 as well. That's why I love the earnings season, because we are going to have so many of these opportunities. So another one that was a short was SHAK. Again, let's look at our pre-market guidance. The pre-market guidance was pretty clear. Only long over clouds, revenue grow by 16 to 80%, right? But these names usually trade pretty good, so that's why I had highlighted it as red. 128, 131 were two levels, only long over the clouds, but as soon as it break clouds, I told everybody it's an MTF short. 935, I told everybody MTF short, and it bounced a little bit, rejected the clouds, you hit it again, you hit closer to the clouds. That's what you do. As soon as it gets closer to the clouds, you re-hit the short, and right away you can see that from that 512 rejections. I mentioned the 5 rejections at 10:30. When I mentioned that, even from that rejection, it faded all the way back to 118s, and then it gave a curl. That's where you exit, right? So that was another short. So you see that how we had 3 trades, all highlighted red, but all were, they announced the guidance, pre-announced the guidance, and all kind of worked out pretty nicely there today for trades. So you can see that, see the timestamp guidance, see the pre-market planning. That's why earnings seasons are so profitable, that you can have repeatable setups working for you all day long with the Ripster clouds. All right, let's talk about AMD. So why did we swing AMD today, and what was the trade plan and guidance on AMD? So what I noticed on AMD today was, guys, what was happening was AMD was relatively holding very strong than the rest of the market. You see, this AMD was continuously pushing over the cloud. So AMD turned long right here. Right here it turned long, and when it's swiping back up, this tells me it's strong. So this tells me we can long it. And look where I gave the stop. I said stop is 114.50. How did I get 114.50? I said long versus 140.150. Right, in case the market, which is going to work out nicely because of this level 1, 2, 3, 4. Clearly you can see this level. Same thing when you do swing trading, same thing when they're investing, same thing, high time frame, the level, and it was also the yesterday lows. So interesting thing to note here was a beautiful trade on yesterday lows, and that's why it was long. And if you held my 114.50 stops, and once it started to push higher, I told everybody to move the stops to 115.50. I gave the target of 117.50. We met that target by the close, and I said swing some, but feel free to log, up to you. And the reason I decided to swing, even if PPI is bearish tomorrow, we are already up $4, guys. It doesn't matter even if it pulls. Worst case, will break even, right? So that was a winning trade on AMD. I explained you why I discussed AMD in the community today. So that was important. Let's go to the next one.